Chat, we're back. Morning after Wednesday, December 10th. I almost said July. It's tough. It's tough. Is it the year of our Riley 2025? It is the year of our Riley 2025. Riley Davis is beating the he hates work allegations this week. Kind of. Called out of a preview this morning almost immediately. But I feel like Riley's hitting his weekly quota this week.
It's true. I do want to pat myself on the back. I've been big on giving myself pats on the back recently, Dion. Me and Matt Moderna were looking through the schedule late last week, maybe even early this week. I can't remember. I saw no one had signed up for Florida UConn. So, had to put the backpack on, get it done for the team. So, I feel like I'm making up in other areas. But then this morning realized, this Iowa State preview, don't know if I have any time to record it this afternoon because as you intimated, Dion, I do hate work. And I don't know if those allegations are going anywhere. We're sort of like kicking the can down the road. I know how to pick my spots where like I show up and make you think like, oh, maybe he is beating the allegations, but then they always resurface.
Yeah. So we're in a rough spot because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do the Iowa State preview without like you having done it with me just because of the time thing.
We might be able to get it done after this. It depends on how long we go on. Ulamog, what's up? You can't see my display name, but I'm live from the downtown Durham Y.
It sounds like it's popping.
It is popping. Can you hear background noise?
A little bit, yeah. It's okay.
Oh, gosh.
No,
all
we
right,
love that. We love that.
All right.
We love that.
If y'all are good with it, I'll keep rocking here.
Okay, we're good with it. Elite banter on the full episode for this morning, fellas. I was cracking up at work listening to it. I did re-listen to our church banner. Top three.
That was, I think, like sometimes we don't get to really go too deep into the bantering weeds when we do previews and recaps, which I feel like we do a good bit of together, or even shorts. But when you put us on a full episode or a live show, you get things like Dion saying his jersey is up in the church rafters, which I don't know if that will ever be topped on this show.
It is. It's right at the top. I mean, listen, not many people get their jerseys hung in rafters. I was hanging banners. Got removed from the church hoop league at one point for being too good. A lot of people forget that. They told me, sir, like, as great as you are, like, it hasn't been fair. I said, you know what? I agree.
Wait, do you have any good church league stories?
Yeah, no, dead ass. They asked me to stop playing in it.
Because you were too good?
Yeah, I was too good. So
what age was this?
So what, like, it was our church against like the neighboring churches. So like my church was good with it. It was the other churches that didn't want to play against me.
Gotcha.
But no, like we had like cuts and stuff. This was legit. It like very committed. Not me, but like the rest of the team was. So like it was during, I want to say we played like spring or summer. I remember it being during like AAU season. I know that much. So I never really went to practice. They practiced like once a week. Like it was a church league, like with all due respect, clown show. But my mom was like, yo, you have to play in it. Like, I think she said something like it's for God. And I was like, okay.
Elite religious manipulation from your mom on that one.
I have another elite like religious manipulation thing she's done in the past. I'll save it for after this story. This is just gonna be like a full church episode, and then like we'll segue right into BYU. It'll be perfect. But she's like, yeah, you have to play. It's for God. I said, okay, I'll play. They do the thing like where you can only play like X amount of time. You know what I mean? Like you're not allowed to play like too many minutes or whatever it was. So like the first game, I kind of like joked around. My dad got like really mad at me. And I really didn't like having to deal with that when I got home. So the second game in the first quarter, I had 22 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 22 points in a quarter is crazy. I was going to say the peak of my basketball career, short-lived basketball career, I will say, was in 5th grade in my school's intramural league. Was essentially, it's a Christian, I went to a Christian school. So it was like basically a church league, put up 20 points against a bunch of fourth graders in the season finale, had a guy in some red windbreaker pants, another parent of a fourth grader who approached my dad about teaming up on some sort of like church league team going forward, did not take him up on it, refused to practice over the next year, played for a church league in 6th grade. And I think in my season debut got called for 4 travels in a quarter. And that was kind of it for my basketball career after that. Until I got into,
I love that. 20's no joke. 20's no joke.
It felt special, dude. There was nothing like it when I'm keeping track of the points in my head. And then my dad confirmed as I left the court that I did hit 20. If you can put 20, if you can put up 20 in a game once in your life, I will take that, even though I was like 10 years old. I still remember it to this day. So
I would love for everyone to do it more than once. It was like, I had like 22 in like a quarter, and then I kind of just like stopped playing because I didn't think the other team would score 22 total.
It was like, I've done my work, I'm out.
Yeah, I thought we were good. Like I thought I was like, yo, I checked every box, like we're good. So then, like, after the game, they're like, hey, like, this is a little bit more, like, recreational, not competitive. Would it be okay, like, if if you pull your son from the league? And my dad said, yeah. My dad didn't really want me to play in it either, but my mom just kept telling him it was for God. So he removed me from it and then put me in a boys and girls club league where I did the same thing. Except they kicked me out because, like, it wasn't church. So I was, like, talking crazy during that game. I got kicked out of that one for sportsmanship. But then, like, so after, like, 18, my mom gave us, like, you know, we didn't have to go to church anymore. Honestly, it might have been, like, 16 or 17 when she was like, you don't have to go to church anymore because I was, like, going to, like, Catholic school. Mm-hmm. So, like, I would sleep in on Sundays. And then one time the Warriors played the Magic at 9 a.m. And I was awake 8:30. It was Steph versus Orlando. And my mom goes, oh, so you can wake up for Steph Curry, but you can't wake up for God. I've been shook ever since. Riley.
Your mom, she doesn't pull any punches, dude, when it comes to
No, she lets you know how it is, like, really quickly. That's my dog. But I've been shook ever since. Like, every Sunday now, like, I wake up early and I'm like, man, Steph's on. I don't think I can go to church today.
Wait, you wake up every morning and what? Steph's on, you said?
Yeah, Steph's playing today. I don't think I can go to church. And then I just think about, like, what my mom said. Mm-hmm. You can wake up early for Steph, but you can't wake up early for God.
I mean, it's okay. There have been plenty of Sundays where I realized that I spent, like, half the sermon thinking about my fantasy football lineup. And I'm like, dang, maybe should have left the phone in the car for this one. This is a little too much of a distraction.
What time are you in church to and from?
So let's see. My church service that I go to starts at 10 and usually it ends about 11:05, 11:10. So I might stay around, hang out with people for a little bit afterwards and back home. Usually back home by like 11:40 to noon. We usually bring a lunch for Theo and see if he'll eat there, like outside, like at a picnic table, just because he usually crashes like for his nap as soon as we get home. So that delays it a little bit too. But
he stays up for church though?
He does. I mean, he goes to like a children's program, but
it's a gamer.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
I respect it. That's a gamer. Theo knows when to show up.
Yeah,
no one can ever doubt that. Like when the lights shine brightest, Theo is elite.
He's locked in. That's for sure. He makes sure we know it too.
Good sign moving forward. Really good. So you're there from 10 to noon?
Yeah, let's say give or take.
That's tough fantasy football wise. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I usually, let's say if I get home at noon, I always have time to kind of make sure my lineup is set. You know, check the rankings one last time.
Time zones. Mm-hmm. That one's on me. Mm-hmm. And time zones.
I still got a good hour before it kicks off, but I got to make sure. Well, to be honest, when the season starts, I'm always so excited for fantasy where I'm like diving into Fantasy Pros, looking at rankings every day, listening to podcasts, and then probably 6 or 7 weeks in, that was unintentional. 6 or 7 weeks in, I'm like, I kind of know how my team is faring. Either I got this and I'm good and I don't need the outside help until I'm looking at rankings like the day of, or my team is trash and I just go and divert my attention to something else. That's kind of that's the wave of momentum with fantasy for me.
Well, I think everyone would love if you just diverted your attention to church instead of your fantasy team while Thurman's going on.
Fair point.
Speaking of church, though, BYU Florida, my bad, BYU Clemson. Sorry. This game was crazy. 43-22, I want to say at halftime, maybe 43-24.
44-22.
44-22. 44-22 at halftime. I never thought it was over. I was confused what was going on with BYU. But what I will say about it, though, AJ is crazy. Like, Devonta, like, once they go down, like, he, like, locks in on a level like he doesn't lock in maybe at the beginning of the game, which might be, like, a problem long term, but it's really, really fun in December. Like, I kind of just, like, root for them to go down 20 right now.
Just to see what happens. It was, I'll be honest, Dion, I thought this game was over. As I was watching that first half, I talked about this with Matt Moderno on the recap. And so I've watched Clemson a handful of times just being an ACC guy. And I thought with how focused they are on the front court, how they play through their post, and they have like 4 different options they can run at the 4 and the 5 and get to that high-low, or they'll throw to RJ Godfrey on the block and let him go to work, or even someone like Nick Davidson. I think he's been kind of underwhelming considering what Clemson paid him, and that he was pretty sought after when he hit the portal coming out of Nevada. Like, they're really good at getting him on the move and taking slower-footed bigs off the bounds and getting to the rim that way. They're doing whatever they wanted to in the paint, and then on top of it, you were getting just these BYU defensive lapses along the perimeter where they're just giving up wide-open threes to Justin Porter, who couldn't miss. I think there was one when Clemson first pushed the lead to 20. It's probably either Godfrey or Davidson, I can't remember which one, got an offensive rebound and kicked it out to Porter, and there wasn't a BYU player within 3 feet of them. Like, they were slow on the rotations, they were slow on the closeouts, and as I was watching that 3 fall, I was like, okay, yeah, this one's just over. This is just a no-show stinker performance from BYU. And then they completely flipped the script. It wasn't just AJ in the second half. The defense was so much better. Like, they extended it. They pressured Clemson, got up into them, and Keba Keita took over defensively. I thought for as good as AJ was on offense, Keita made such an impact on the other end.
Did I discuss Keba Keita with you in the past, or was that G?
I think you talked about it with G probably.
So my Keba Keita theory, and Riley, I used you as an example for it. You would have loved this. If the opposing team has more than 2 players that are built like Riley Davis or Jacob Karabastos, Keba Keita's elite. I'm talking 20 and 20, 4 blocks, a couple highlights. If they have anybody built like Cart, it's not gonna work.
What's the build we're looking for here? Like, me
Small.
and JK are we would be considered short, but like stout.
Short and unathletic.
Oh, okay.
But like elite in the gym though.
Okay, I'll take that. You
like,
saved it.
Elite in the gym, really good people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna say like please and thank you. You're gonna be like, the pleasantries before the game are gonna be phenomenal. But like smaller, a little bit more unathletic, Keba's killing that. Cart's gonna pull up, more athletic, bigger, taller, a lot of shit to him. Keba don't want that.
So where would you classify this Clemson front court on the JK/Riley to Carter spectrum?
Right in there. JK right there. They're like right there. Like, really nice dudes. Probably are doing great in chemistry class. Like, they probably, like, their teachers probably love them. TAs love this Clemson team. A TA sees this Clemson team coming, they're like, those are my guys. We like Keba killed them.
I love Dion, when you're looking to break down a guy's game, when you analyze their classroom performance, that's one of my favorite qualities of yours on the Sleepers channel. Like, last night in our group chat, after the first half of UConn, Florida, we were getting texts. Xavier Lee, it doesn't matter that you got an A in chemistry. It's like Ryan Hammer, who's a massive Xavier Lee fan, is like, Xavier Lee Renaissance, so happy for him. This is the best. And Dion chimes in, we don't care that you got an A in chemistry, bro.
Yeah, I love Hammer. And I would only do that to Hammer. And then I also hit this Xavier Lee breakout game is like when my mom told me to get my grades up. So I pulled up with a C instead of a D+. That's essentially what Xavier Lee did last night. Everyone's like, Xavier, figure it out. He's like, okay, 4 of 20.
with one of the most egregious air balls I've ever seen, like when the game was on the line. Yeah, but great job, Xavier. But sorry, I didn't mean to get us off track. We can get back to Clemson BYU before we go into Florida and UConn. But
I do have a take on that air ball. If you could remind me when we get to it, because I definitely have a take on that air ball. But back to BYU Clemson, Clemson's not good. So like this roster looks like here's who was left from our football team.
Like you traded Ian Shefflin and got 3 white guys who should be playing football in return. Is that what you're saying?
Like it looks like Dabo went up to Bromwell, right?
Brownell.
I don't like him. It looks like Dabo went up to Brownell and was like, "Hey man, like I got a few left over. It looks like you don't have a complete roster. Here you go." This is like one of the worst teams. Like
no, come, dude, they're good. They're top 25 on KenPom right now. Clemson is good.
I'm pretty sure
their ceiling is low because it's a Brad Brownell Clemson team, and they don't have PJ Hall anymore. And even when they had PJ Hall, it wasn't like they were this super like high ceiling, star power, star-studded team. But this is what Brownell has done in his late career. He shifted where, everybody's chiming in saying they're not good, and in the chat right now,
that's
you got some backup.
Garrett Clemens Sports said, "What are you talking about, D?"
All right, thank you, Garrett. Thank you for sticking with me on here. But
Bro's a hater. Are you a Clemson fan, Garrett?
You kind of got to be if your last name is Clemens. I would probably be a Clemson fan if my last name was Clemens. But okay, so Dion, let me give you some ACC backstory here. For like the first half of his Clemson tenure, Brad Brownell lived on the hot seat. Every year it was like, was this dude going to get fired? And then he did just enough to stave off the calls for his head. But in the past, 5 to 7 years, you can go back to 2018 when they made the Sweet 16, I believe, and got absolutely packed up by Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. But still, it was like their second weekend appearance, and let's say in 15 years. Since then, he's made his hay by being like this sneaky in-game coach who maximizes his roster year in, year out. They're always really physical. They always dominate the offensive boards, and they get just enough guard production to where they can pull off a big upset. This team beat Cooper Flagg's Duke team a year ago. It was Duke's one loss in ACC play. It's a program where, again, they're not going to blow you away with their roster any given year, but they have enough in terms of just the collective power of that team to win some games because of their interior play. And when they're hitting threes like they are last night, obviously they were this close to pulling off an upset.
Yeah. So here's their schedule so far. I'm gonna list off the teams they beat. New Hampshire, Gardner-Webb, Morehead State, North Alabama, West Virginia, Georgia, and Alabama A&M.
We need
45 on KenPom. Nobody.
We need Tanner to wait. I need some Tanner McGrath propaganda on why New Hampshire's a good win or something.
I'll tell you what, for all the Xavier Lee jokes I make, and I will forever make Xavier Lee jokes, Hammer and Tanner, I think, are two of the most what's the word for it? Educated basketball minds on the planet. Just being in the same group chat with them and seeing them discuss the college basketball landscape, I'm like, man, I get on here and tell Xavier and Lee this isn't.
To that extent, I don't think even Tanner McGrath could polish the New Hampshire turd. They most recently have lost to Dartmouth. Speaking of the Ivy League, they lost to Fairfield. They lost to Brown. Okay, Providence is 0-2. They're 0-3 against the Ivy League. Never mind. Nothing sneaky about New Hampshire.
Garrett Clemens Sports. Riley is at a YMCA. Also, Garrett, you're a UNC fan. I want to ask you this. Are you more of a Riley guy or a Dion guy? I feel like there's a divide in the UNC fan base on the channel now. I've sneaky snuck my way in there, Riley. Snuck my way in there.
You really have. What's going to be incredible is when UNC, they're sort of on the come up now. We're trying to restore the standard. If we ever get the aura back and Carolina blue means something again, we will welcome you with open arms. And I feel like you can lean into that and immediately become the most beloved UNC commentator on the podcast. That world is theirs. It's yours for the taking. And all you got to do is buy in once we get good.
Yeah, I mean, T-Splain always comes in here what's up, Dion, my UNC brother? That's my guy. Let's get into Florida, UConn really quickly. The Xavier Lee airball, that was blocked.
Oh, okay. So there's your take on
100%
that.
was blocked.
Okay, that's a good observation. I didn't notice that in real time watching it. I was just like, dude, what is this? It was
To me, that was like maybe I'm wrong, but like the way he airballed it, like he's not that bad, respectfully.
I mean, I would hope not. What's crazy? Do you remember? I swear, with both Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee, there were tweets leaking out like, "Oh, their NIL asking prices approaching 4 or 5 million." Like, how funny is that in hindsight? I know those are just rumors. I would guess they're both like probably over 1.5 in the 1.5 2 million range. If I had to like handicap it based on the numbers you hear from other elite guards that enter the portal or whatever, but it's just so funny looking back at that, where it's like, oh, these guys are gonna break the NIL market, and then Florida ends up with both, and it's like, oh, their patience pays off, and no, patience very much did not pay off. Like maybe Todd Golden probably should have hit the portal right the day after winning the title, and he should have been the one to get Rob Wright.
I don't think Rob Wright would have wanted to go there.
Really?
Especially. I think Rob Wright's at BYU for one reason and one reason only, and that's Sir Red Bull himself. Like, and honestly, it's a genius move on Rob Wright's part. If you want to be on NBA draft radar, why would you not be around the most polarizing prospect possible?
In terms of just like get eyeballs on you and yeah. It was kind of what Jaden Dawson said over the summer about playing next to Darren Peterson, but that has not worked out for him. Maybe it would have. I think it has worked out for Rob, though. Rob has had moments where you're like, okay, yeah, this kid belongs in the league.
I mean, the game winner last night was insane. What a shot.
I think sorry, I know we just said we're talking Florida and UConn, and now I'm just into hypotheticals of what if Rob Wright went to Florida. Wright's game to me, when I watch BYU, I've said this before, when they look bad, it's like they're aura farming too much, where it's just Rob and AJ trying to go one-on-one, and it doesn't look like cohesive basketball. When they start hitting, like, I'm cool with the ISO ball. And I think Rob's a little more ISO heavy than even I realized, like, because he kind of got branded as this true point guard, which I think he has some of that to his game. You know, you go back to his Montverde days where he was running the point for that loaded team with Derek Queen and Cooper Flagg and Liam McNeely. But when I think about him, again, I said this on the recap, so sorry for anyone who tuned into that if this is repetitive. I think of him as more of like a true ball handler who's going to break his man down and beat his dude off the bounce, get to the hoop like we saw repeatedly down the stretch last night, even before the game winner, to where I think Golden likes to do a little more of a system and less like freelance with what we're seeing Kevin Young do right now, just with how much he plays through the bigs. And even to that extent, I guess we can transfer, like, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Rob Wright and his game? Like, I know we hit on it briefly in terms of the buzzer beater, but.
I like Rob Wright's game. I think I was wrong on him. Pickle Rick said, can't believe Riley had to be the one defending Purdue on the pod yesterday when Dion is supposed to be a Boilermaker this year. Yeah. Listen, man, that Iowa State game was rough, dude.
Dion is grinding the film and rewatching y'all's games 2 to 3 times. So don't kick my guy off the bandwagon just yet.
No, I watched it again last night. I watched it after Florida UConn ended because I was like too tired to like watch like Love Island or something. So I was like, let me just go on like basketball. So I rewatched it again, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, Rick. That's a rough game, man. That's a rough game. Like, and it's not just that they lost or the way they lost. It's the style of play. I don't know that I'd buy they're ever going to be able to beat. That's all it is for me. But yeah, I think Rob Wright is a phenomenal player. I think I was a little wrong on him. Like I felt like he wasn't fully going to buy into like the collegiate experience because he didn't want to be here. And I think I was just leaning kind of into some of the AJ DeBonsis stuff as well and like carrying it over to Rob Wright and Richie Saunders, which 100% was wrong in terms of Richie Saunders. And I think it's wrong in terms of Rob Wright too. I think he's completely bought into what KY is trying to do. KY has this team probably the most locked in on a string, I think, of any group in the country. And that's why they were able to go down 20 and come back. And I think Florida could use something like that. I thought Florida looked better when they split Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan up. Not just for Xavier Lee, but also for Boogie Flan. That's a problem. That's a style problem.
Boogie Flan, he was so bad in this game. He was atrocious. Like, I know he kind of saved it with some nice plays down the stretch where he got to the rim a couple times. I think he finished with 8 points. But, I mean, the dude was rattled. He was riddled with foul trouble almost immediately. And I had that same thought, Dion, where it's like you can't play these two guys together. Neither of them know how to play off ball. I think you look at Xavier Lee's percentages last year. I think he shot 36% from three. And with how much Princeton plays through their bigs, I mean, you think of like the quote unquote Princeton offense, it makes sense. I expected him to have more gravity as a catch and shoot threat. And he doesn't. He just kind of stands in the corner. And like Boogie does the same. Neither of those dudes have any interest in playing off ball. And like, I think it was Rickus Morty said, I don't know who Xavier Lee's backup is, but he needs to play. Yeah. I feel like the best version of this team is just letting Urban Klofschar play, I don't know, 25 minutes next to like basically starters minutes next to either Boogie or Xavier, whichever one Todd Golden thinks is better. But they both have stunk right now. So it's like choosing between arsenic and cyanide for your starting point guard. But maybe they'll look a little bit better if you put.
Or choosing between like, I don't know, just throwing a few names out there like RJ Davis, Ian Jackson.
RJ Davis was way better than any of these guys could ever hope to be at the college level. Maybe Boogie puts it together and sticks in the NBA or something, but this has just been an awful start to the year.
I don't think he does. Prince of Pia said, Dion, please read this public. In Kentucky? No, I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. Is Kentucky, Indiana on Saturday, though?
Yeah, it is. Indiana, I mean, that's from Principia. That's quite the bold statement for his confidence in his Hoosiers, who have not looked great. I mean, you blew out Penn State, but you lost to Minnesota. I don't know if this is the angle I would be taking, but then again, Kentucky might be dead. We'll find out for sure on Saturday.
I'll tell you what, Tuck and Darren put them to sleep. That's a win for West Virginia. Hang the banner. We will hang a banner for that if Tuck and Darren put them to sleep. We fired Mark Pope. No, honestly, man, I follow a lot of Kentucky Twitter accounts, not to make this not turn into Kentucky, but there's like something going on with Kentucky at the moment, like in terms of like the funding, it seems like, and it seems like they're maybe this $22 million roster was like a one-time thing, and there's a world they don't have that much money moving forward. But I woke up at 6 today and was doing a little prep for this, so I haven't had a chance to fully lock in on it. It's on my TL though, so probably as soon as we click end stream, I'm gonna go see what's going on. But it seems like there's something going on with some of the funding. DK and Pickle Rick say completely off night and a bad loss for Purdue is no big deal. I don't disagree. Like, I'm not saying that like this loss to Iowa State in December defines Purdue in March and April. What I'm saying is, unfortunately, the style of play that was played in this game, I feel like has defined Purdue for the last like 3 or 4 years. And I don't know that like that's my concern, is it doesn't feel any different. This was supposed to be the team that felt different. Like, I didn't bet on it. We don't bet on Purdue games. Braden Smith is our coworker, so we don't do it. A year ago, Braden Smith isn't our coworker. I bet Iowa State in that game in a heartbeat because of the style of play. Like, the styles make fights. I think Iowa State's a matchup nightmare for Purdue. This year, I would have bet Purdue thinking things were different and they got starched. And maybe that's like why I'm looking at it so differently, is I thought this was the year things would be different. And they still might be at the end of the day. Pickle Rick, you're right. Like, who says they will even have to play Iowa State? I'm not saying they do. Here's the problem. Iowa State's like Duke if Duke was broke.
It's a good way to put it. You mean where they just like overwhelm you with size, physicality, athleticism, but it's all dudes who like were playing in the WCC or a bottom tier ACC team a year ago?
It's one of those situations where like Duke went to Whole Foods and says we'll pay full price for everything. Iowa State went to Walmart and got the 2-for-1 deal on the same item.
Mm-hmm. A lot of good value players.
Iowa
State.
That's my fear, is if we lost to Iowa State by 30, What's Duke going to do? What's UConn going to do? So many of these teams play the same style as Iowa State, but they have more talent.
Yeah, but I get the argument. I think Iowa State is uniquely constructed in a way to expose a team like Purdue that's had some of these issues with physicality in the past, where their whole MO, like I would say defensively, they're most comparable to like the good Houston teams. And I think Iowa State is substantially better than Houston at this given moment, even from a defensive perspective. I think
they're better than Houston
right now.
Correct. So are a lot of teams, though. I can rattle off 20.
I was just going to say that, like, Houston is the prototype for the best defense over the past decade at this point. And Iowa State runs something very similar in terms of how they just throw physicality at you, where they have bigs who come in waves, and they have guards with crazy length who can turn you over a bunch and pressure you. But Iowa State is just a better constructed version of that this year than, like, the current 25-26 Houston team is, to where I would say, like, I don't know. That's why I kind of view Iowa State's defense this year as like what we would normally view a Houston defense, and therefore even a team with more talent like UConn, like Duke, like Arizona, I don't know if they'll be able to execute defensively quite at the level of this Iowa State team.
We're about to get right back to UConn, DK, I promise. We'll go like 5 or 10 minutes long if that's cool with you, Riley, to hit this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
My bad. Tom Minner said, jumping in late, but when do we start having a combo about Elliot Cadeau being better than Fears? Can score better, passing is worse, and defense is on par. Cadeau's not better than Fears, but we could have a combo that Cadeau's pretty good.
Wow. I didn't expect to hear you say that, Dion.
I said it in the offseason, Dusty makes me believe in what he's doing. I think Michigan's the best team in the country right now. Michigan's another team. Like, Michigan went to Whole Foods and Iowa State went to like Walmart, but it's the same roster. Like, Mom Silovich is Yaxel, but Yaxel's going to play in the end. I guess Mom Silovich might play in the NBA too now.
Yeah, but I think he will.
I think he will too. But like at one point, we knew Yaxel would. It was not a given. Mom Silovich will. Now it seems like they both will. So I think they're very similar teams. Akil says I'm going to put a future on Michigan to win the Big Ten. I hate that bet. I still think that's Purdue's conference to win just because they play all the important games at Mackey. But Iowa State just proved that might not mean a thing. So we'll see. But back to Florida, UConn, Braylon Mullins, DK. I love Braylon Mullins. He's literally Klay Thompson.
Is he?
Yeah. He gets in foul trouble, though.
Yeah, I think did he foul out last night? He at least had 4. I mean, 6 big points, though. I want to give a shout out to the 6 big points. He curled off of one Terrace Reed screen that was like smooth as midi coming off of his hands, where he's not even hitting his threes yet. I'm a massive fan of his game, and I think he'll get there. But honestly, it's good to see him like knock down mid-rangers right now, even when the three's not falling, just to show he's a little more – he's less one-dimensional than the box that people might try to put him in. So, big Braylon Mullins fan. DK, I don't know if you're still in the chat or not, but I think I said this on the recap that should be on the channel soon. I felt like UConn played a C+, B- game and still beat Florida, I would say, somewhat comfortably. I know what the final margin was, but after I think Florida took the lead with 12 minutes left, UConn got it back within 2 minutes, and it felt like they were never going to relinquish it after that. Kind of seemed like after Thomas Houck hit a big 3 when Ryby was guarding him, he got a handoff, I think from Condon, knocked it down, and that was the moment where it was like, okay, Florida just took the lead for the first time since late first half. This is their time where they need to seize this momentum and build on this, and they didn't. And it was like, oh, yeah, I think UConn's just going to win this game. They just guard play's not good enough for. Oh no, you're good. I was going to say guard play's not good enough for Florida to win a game like that, in my humble opinion.
I agree. I think you and DK both are correct where they haven't played above a B yet. That's why I think UConn and Duke are the scariest teams in the country, not named Michigan. The reason Michigan is because they just keep playing A+ performances. Like, I'm not sure they have anything below an A+ in their bag at the moment. They're just up 30, 10 minutes into every game, and then they can kind of coast for another 30. But outside of that, we don't know how good UConn and Duke are. Here's my hesitation with both that I expressed on the full episode that's out right now. I don't know that we ever get an A performance from them because of some of the point guard issues I think both teams have. I'm not a huge Demery guy, and I'm definitely not a huge Caleb Foster or Caden guy. I do. RayTube said I think Malachi could start eventually. I agree. Malachi's kind of the king of being like 0 for 4 though, and then he hits like a pull up midi, does a lot of yelling, and we're like, "Yo, this kid's insane!" And it's like actually he kind of stunk for the first 35 minutes.
But the shots he makes are massive. He had one last night, like. I think it was. I can't remember if it was a 3 or a mid ranger last night that he hit. Where the crowd went wild, and it's like. Anecdotally in my mind, I'm like, dude, Malachi Smith is cooking. And you look up and it's like, oh, he's 2 for 6 with 5 points. 9 assists, though. 9 big assists. But yeah, I've been really disappointed by Demery. I would say, I think UConn got close to an A performance against Illinois. But yeah, Demery just doesn't look like the guy who was lighting it up at Georgia down the stretch of last season. He's not even looking at the rim half the time. And I thought he was going to be a match made in heaven alongside Dan Hurley. You saw the Tristan Newton comps, like people were throwing those out of the offseason, and it just seems like he hasn't gotten comfortable or hasn't made shots. It's good to see solo ball finally come to life, though. I know he hit three threes last night. Maybe any UConn fans, DK or others, can check me on this, but I would guess that's the first time he's hit more than 2 threes in a game all season.
Who, Demery?
Ball. Okay, it's the 4th time he's done it. But
shooting like 28% from 3, man.
Yeah, he doesn't really deserve the respect of me saying, "Oh, you've hit a bunch of multiple 3 games so far." But he was good last night.
I think honestly, I hate to be that guy, but I don't hate the idea of Braylon getting a good amount of solos minutes. But Braylon also has to stay out of foul trouble for that to work. So I don't know. I think UConn's really good though. They kind of like punked Florida. They should have punked Florida. Good teams win, great teams cover. Florida did cover, by the way. Shout out Xavier Lee, shout out Boogie. A lot of layups at the end that just I didn't feel, as someone that personally bet UConn -4.5, I just didn't think were necessary. Like we could maybe try a 3 here. Also solo ball, it'd be sick if you just made a free throw.
Yeah, right.
Just made a free throw solo. But I think UConn's insane. We haven't seen their best performance. I do think some of that comes from the point guard element of it though. But I am going to get Riley out of here. I know my dog Theo he's in daycare right now.
Yeah, he's in childcare at the Y.
My dog Theo's locked in. But I do want to end with this. Coda said, believe in UNC when Seth comes back. This is a top 10 team easy. I agree with that sentiment.
I would be ecstatic if that happens. Oh, shout out to Coda to Jameson. Have confidence in your ears. Yeah. Have confidence in your heels. Yeah, I've seen Coda in the comments before. The first time I've seen him in the chat. What's up, man? I'm about to say I believe in this team. I'm just afraid, Coda, all right? Like, I've been hurt a lot the past 5 years. You can go back to Roy's final 2 years where, like, Cole Anthony year, I thought we were going to be nasty. We go 14-20. The next year we get Walker Kessler and Day'Ron Sharp. I'm like, all right, sick. Ton of bigs. Caleb Love, freshman, one and done coming in, and we get packed up by Brad Davison in the tournament. There's just been like a lot of frustrations over the past 5 or 6 years at this point, even with a national title appearance mixed in, to where I'm always hesitant. I used to be a very optimistic Carolina fan. Now I'm not quite, but I appreciate the solidarity though, Coda. And once we get Seth back, I think we will be pretty good.
I do think UNC's top 10 when they get Seth back. I mean, I'm just going to go down the final 3 on KenPom. You got Vanderbilt, Illinois, BYU. Like, I don't see why North Carolina is definitely not that much worse than Vanderbilt, if they're worse than Vanderbilt at all. Yeah. Like, I think North Carolina is better than them. I do believe BYU is better than Sleeper sticks IU logos in every video, but only talk about them every 10th video. We don't have an IU logo in this one, do we?
Let me see.
But
if can we just blame JK?
If we do, that's JK's fault. Yeah. But
hold on, let me see. No, I think the thumbnail is Caravan, and I can't tell. I can't tell from the tweet. I'll just be honest.
Honestly, I thought we hit everything we were supposed to, because there has been a lot of chatter in the comments about us like engaging with the chat and not getting through the topic. So I've been trying to find that middle ground for everybody. I thought we did it, but I do think UNC is a top 10 team in the country, though. I think they're better than Vanderbilt. Honestly, I think they might be better than Illinois. I don't think they're better than BYU. But like even if you look at 11 through 13, Houston, Michigan State, Bama. Obviously, they got punked by Michigan State. I think that's a bad matchup. I think North Carolina is a super bad matchup for Alabama. I think North Carolina would cook Bama. And Houston, man, I'm out. I'm all the way out on Houston. So I have confidence in your Tar Heels, Riley. I think they're back.
Let me see what we do with Seth Trimble against Ohio State. And I know Ohio State can't guard. Like that's our next like that's our next power conference opponent, and I think Seth should be back for that one. So if we go out and beat Ohio State by like 15, I will be all the way in. I think Ohio State's pretty good. They just can't guard anybody. So that's gonna be our next litmus test. I think that's when Seth Trimble will be back. How does he fare against Bruce Thornton? That's gonna be a major tell with like just because right now none of these guards can really stay in front of their man. And Seth is the one dude who you stick at the point of attack, and I think it has a trickle-down effect for the rest of the defense. So,
I definitely think the team's worth it without Trimble. I'm so high on Seth, though. I was last year. I kept saying, free my dog, let him play with adults. I think he gets to play with adults this year. There's less kids in the room. So I'm super high on Trimble, super high on North Carolina. We'll be back tomorrow. It'll be me and JK tomorrow. Friday, assuming I wake up on time, I do believe it'll be myself and G. I don't think we'll have Cart, but I'll see if we can get Cart too. And I will wake up on time because I'm recording shorts in the full episode. So I'll actually be up an hour early. We're good. But yeah, I believe we'll be back with the trio Friday. We'll do a little preview of Indiana, Kentucky, because apparently we don't talk in Indiana enough. But I appreciate you guys. We'll be back in the morning.